So here's the second fundamental that you really need to get people hooked to your brand and to your social media pages. Well, that's the tale of hero, hub, and hygiene. A little on this before we proceed further on the slides. Hero is basically that big idea that is the central focus. Hub are those central ideas that are centered around the hero and happen every quarter or during a particular period of time. And the hygiene is the day-to-day work, the day-to-day activities that you do on a social media platform. Well, before we get into extreme details on how the digital and social media has evolved, here's social media marketing and the things that you need to get the social media strategy right. My screen tells you that it helps you increase your sales, increase your website traffic. It also helps you to improve your brand image. But what exactly do you need to do to get your social media marketing strong? Well, the first and the foremost thing is strategy. In technical terms, it's also known as brand strategy. There's a brand, it has a certain objectives, and we need to devise a strategy that needs to be on point to get that particular objective achievable and right. A clear example would be, let's say, a coffee brand launching a new range of beans, right? They want to create awareness, they then want to convert them to get leads. Well, convert them to leads is something that we're going to proceed on when we learn about the paid ads, but before that, awareness. And how do you do that? Well, the best way to do is social media marketing. That clearly says that you need to have your awareness strategy right, which means efficient keywords, efficient visuals, efficient content, and also a slight twist of creativity that is just going to make the content aspect of it right. The second thing is planning and posting. Well, there's the right time to do everything, right? That's just the same when it comes to social media as well. You need to know when is the right time to post for your brand. Clearly that says that you can quickly click on the insights of your Instagram page or your Facebook page, and you can see the time when your audience is most active, the time when your people are highly active and engaging. So the entire process of planning and posting is really important to make the best use of the strategy and make the best use of the content. Followed by that, listening and engagement. Well, not literally listening, but what it means by is observing the comments, how people are reacting to the post, how they are engaging with you, what are the responses that you're getting, and what is the kind of engagement that your post is having. Because once you do that, that is exactly when you will be able to, the fourth pillar, that is analyze and reform. A right analysis after social listening will help you identify your shortcomings, identify the things that need to be fixed, identify the immediate start, stop, and activities that needs to be done, like things that need to start, the things that you need to stop, and the things that need to be immediately activated on your social media platform. And that's what reform means. And last but not the least, the visuals. We all know that content can sometimes, even though very interesting, sound boring to a lot of people. But a good and a stunning visual never goes out of fashion, out of style. And even if digital evolves, decades from now, visual is something that's going to be there, because we as human beings have a tendency to perceive things that are visually appealing in nature. And all these 5 things together help you achieve the right organic social media strategy without spending a penny, and get your objective and goals right, be it awareness, engagement, brand advocacy, building trust, and all the activities. Well, that takes me to the second part of this particular thing. How can social media help you with a number of goals, such as increasing your website traffic? Like you have a Facebook post, you can just quickly put up a link and people can be redirected toward that by you just saying a small excerpt from your blog, find out the detailed link over here. You can drive traffic to your website on social media. You can build conversations. You can literally start conversations. You can see even the age-old brands in the present time like Godrej and Reliance and Tata's still engage with Zomato and Netflix in the present day on Twitter. It's more about interacting and creating conversation and coming to people's mind. Gone are those days when we only talk about ourselves. These are the times when we talk to other brands and we work in harmony together. Well, that quickly tells you the example of Fevicol's Valentine's Day campaign, where they created a bond with a bunch of major brands. The third and the important objective is raising brand awareness. Like, let's say you're a new brand, you're fairly new with a less social presence or no social presence, but your product is A game. Your services are the services are really great, and your strategy to get them right is also at par. But all of those things are not going to come in handy when you really do not know how to bring that message out, and social media will help you do that. That is, raise your brand's awareness. And the foremost thing with social media is actually known for creating a brand identity for yourself. It's not just the brand at the moment. Social media has helped n number of people increase their brand images, make themselves a personal brand. So if that can happen to individuals, that can definitely happen to your brand as well. And that is what I really mean by creating a brand identity and positioning your brand in the way it's supposed to be when it comes to social media. And last but not the least, improving communication and interaction with the audiences. Let's assume there are 10 people, out of which 3 of them want to purchase your product, out of which only 1 will buy. But in order to get the remaining 7 also interested in it, you need to talk to them. You need to create engagement and interaction that will help you get those things right and get them onboarded with your brand. Well, how does social media help us in achieving all these goals? Well, that's fairly simple. We need to build awareness, create engagement, and have conversations. How do we do that? We build awareness through product pushes. We build awareness with stunning visuals and creative copies, engaging on trending and topical movements. Like a good example would be India winning a World Cup match. A brand can pay its tribute, thank them on social, and also have a subtle integration of their brand. It just works out. Similarly, create engagement, telling people, tell us in the comments below. Taking a real life scenario and an example and asking them, do you find it relatable? Tell us your stories. And having conversations the way we used to do initially, in terms of asking people to comment, asking people to work with us, asking people to interact with us, asking people to tag other things. So these are the things that are going to help the brand engage with the people and also help build up that kind of trust that we need in order for people to be hooked on social media. Another thing that actually is very important, we need to know to up your social media game, is who is your target audience. I mean, who are they? Where are they? And how to reach them? These are the questions. So a clear cut example would be, let's consider 2 brands. A brand that makes TMT bars or cement, as a matter of fact. And there's a different brand that is an internet company that helps you rent cycles online or helps you rent bikes online. You can actually understand the kind of audience for both the brands would be different. So to get your social media, even the organic strategy right, you need to know, where can I find the people who want to buy TMT bars, the people who want to buy or rent cycle. That clearly says I need to know the age groups of those people. I mean, I'm pretty sure like now a Gen Z or a person at the age between 15 to 18 would not want to buy a TMT bar or cement for their house. It's surely people above the age of 25 or at max people over the age of 30 who are planning to build their homes, or contractors and engineers. And we need to understand and bifurcate those age groups into those particular segments where we can directly reach them. So knowing your audience is very important when it comes to social media marketing. And lastly, where will I hang out with my target audience? What does it mean by that? Let me know. So let me just know that I know my audience. I know what they do, what they like, what are their purchasing habits, what is the time that they are active, but on which platform are they available? Are they on Facebook? Are they on Instagram? And that is something that we need the right tools for. Like towards the end of this course, you will find a resource library where you can see and find a bunch of things that will help you answer these questions as well. But as of now, for your understanding, it's really important to know that where your audience is highly active. A quick understanding would be the Gen Zs being most popular and common on Instagram, the boomers being most fairly similar and fairly largely popular on Facebook, making content alike, creating experiences that outlive the brand. Like, have you heard about that small jingle that was released around 2013 that was called "You're My Tumplin' Pumplin' Hello Honey Bunny"? Well, take a moment to think which brand made that jingle. Well, to your surprising, a lot of people would not know the brand's name right now because it has not been existing for a decade. But I'll tell you, that was by a brand that was called Hutch, which later merged into something else. So this does tell us that the jingle has outlived the brand, which means the content that you create on social media, the right content strategy that you have, the creativity that you put up for your brand can actually overlive the brand in particular and the products in general. And the last but not the least, as I mentioned about hero, hub, and hygiene, going a little more in detail, a hero is the central communication thought. A hub is several ideas that are derived from that thought. And hygiene is everything that happens on a day-to-day basis that you need to implement, that you need to work on, that you need to do to increase engagement, awareness, and magnify and amplify that hero message that has created. Let's take a real-time example. Let's pick up a brand that is known by everybody, Apple. That's called Think Different is what their hero communication is, that has been intact for years. Every single hub campaign that happens every year, every quarter is somewhere or the other derived from Think Different. No matter how many iPhones they launch every year, it's always different from the previous one in a way. That's the reason the overall communication is always articulated towards a central thought. Similarly, the day-to-day objectives, the day-to-day activities are also derived from a central thought that is called the hygiene. So, summing it up all together, the hero is the main idea, the hub are the smaller ideas that are derived from the hero idea, and hygiene is something that you do on a day-to-day basis when it comes to social media marketing. Now, let's have a look at a couple of ads that have blended creativity, that have blended visuals, and a good content strategy. First in our list is the one that we see on the IKEA. IKEA was celebrating 50 years of its service in Poland, and they just quickly had a visual that showed the bottom of a chair with a lot of lines. Well, if you look closely, these lines represent the age of a tree, and it says it's been 50 years since we started making furniture. That clearly says the connection between those lines and they spending 50 years. So it's blending creativity, it's blending insight, and it's blending the right strategy. Similarly, the smarter ideas of IBM to do a cosmetism, the similar ideas for KitKat that helps people swing and actually have a break rather than just saying it. The iPhone's endless apps that keep on going on an escalator. This is how digital is evolving, and these hero ideas led to a bunch of hygiene, hub, and other ideas that have evolved for every single brand. Followed by that, here are two ads that I can see in my front of my screen. I'll be playing both of them, but before that, the first one is nothing but an ad about Tourism Australia. Similarly, the other one is an ad towards a queer community and the biggest pride parade in the world, that is the Mikado Feet Parade. So without wasting much time, let's quickly play the Crocodile Dundee ad.
That's not a knife. That's a knife. That's me.
Brian Dundee?
Yep.
Really?
Yeah.
Really?
Why do you keep saying really?
You right there, mate?
Nothing to see here, man. Just getting a clean shave with my machete.
See you next week, Barry. You know, when your dad did it, he was much...
Okay, and when my dad told me about this, he was just like, yeah, I just came up and he did this, okay?
I just don't think he can see you from back here.
Not a lot of crocs out here, huh?
It's just 37,000 miles of pristine, beautiful beach, mate. Did you know that Australia makes some of the finest wines in the entire world?
No, I didn't know that.
Thank you very much.
Wait, hold up. This isn't a movie.
No.
It's a tourism ad for Australia.
Yes. But listen, you're the best Crocodile Dundee since Crocodile Dundee.
Really?
Yes, really. And we had the best trip ever, didn't we?
It was pretty sweet.
Hey, you know, there are some great flight deals to Australia right now.
Dude, I get it. It's not a movie, it's a commercial.
That was the Crocodile Dundee ad. It started off as a movie trailer. People assumed that this is going to be a movie, and everyone was really excited with Australian actors like Hugh Jackman, Margot Robbie, Chris Hemsworth acting, and Australia's age-old son, the Dundee, coming back. But on Super Bowl, they released that this is not a movie, this is not a trailer, this is an ad for Tourism Australia. Well, that is how digital is evolving. Like, you don't trick consumers anymore. All you do is build out a narrative, and that narrative brings out that message. And here you see about the Mercado feed parade. Well, let's see what they did last year when the whole world was in the lockdown and the brand had to do something different while still standing in solidarity with our Kyo community. No high-tech technology, no use of AI, no efficient digital machinery, just a short Instagram feed that was converted into an online feed parade. We have seen a bunch of people doing live concerts, live shows, but this was something that has happened for the first time. That is converting an entire Instagram page into the road where the parade happens, where people can just come and tag themselves where they were. This is where I have been there, this is where I was. Which means the real-time engagement that you actually saw on the screen was true, which is a dream for every digital marketer in this world, and that happened organically. Guess what I'm trying to say here by showing you these two ads is, it's not just the right platform, right timing of strategy, it is the organic content that you create, it is the right idea that you create that is blended with technology and the strategy that gives you the results you need for your marketing. Well, India is not that far behind when it comes to creating such kind of ads. You know what I'm talking about. We're talking about the bunch of cred ads which you can see. Well, India is not that half far when it comes to creating such exemplary ads. And here's one of that brands that has aced that game. It is cred. Be it showing Rahul Dravid in an aggressive avatar, or be it showing Neeraj Chopra in multiple personas and showing our 90s favorite cricketers as their OGs and our favorite Mr. Lakhan Anil Kapoor. They have grabbed the attention and taken that narrative from the digital videos to social media up games. And similarly, a similar strategy can be seen in Disney Plus Hotstar's Shivai Shah Rukh campaign, where they used one of the biggest celebrities, a very unique idea of FOMO, and blended that together to bring out that message that Disney Plus Hotstar is inclusive of every single thing. And that is what makes a social media game right. Well, these are fairly new and interesting brands, a lot of tech brands. But how about a brand that has existed since the dawn of time in India? Well, you know what I'm talking about. Our favorite Pidilite that gave us the Anda Jo Kabhi Nahi Tootega, the furniture Jo Kabhi Nahi Tootega, and every single age-old ingenious Indian ad that has been around. But has Fevicol managed to stay relevant with time? Yes, they have. And how did they do that? Leveraging that ingenious Indian art form, the Indian ideas, and that central message taken to social. Leveraging topicals like Ronaldo's the quick mishap of removing the Coca-Cola bottles by saying na bottle hategi, na valuation ghategi. When Prince Harry moved out of the royal family, real royal family, Kohinoor nahi Fevicol le jana chahiye tha. A foolproof diet plan that in a subtle way shows if you stick it by Fevicol, you can never open the pizza box. The Valentine's Day ad of what would I do without you with a wood and a Fevicol. A song integration that was a very topical trend back in 2020 that says English song in US and what people say in India. You can clearly see on my screen, till death do us apart in US say, and in India it is chipkale se ya Fevicol se. Using that ingenious aspect and bringing that message out. The Children's Day ad and the Friendship Day ad that says Bunty and Chintu rocks. This Friendship Day is set in woods. Every single thing that Fevicol has done on digital has kept that central narrative alive and in a unique and ingenious way, keeping that message broadly amplified on social and on digital media. Well, that's it on the creative aspect. Let's have a quick summary in terms of what all do you need and you need to do to get your social media game right. It is that we learned from Fevicol, you need to adapt with the paradigm shifts that happen. The strategy that has worked last year wouldn't work the next year. More on that later. But you need to know what really works for your brand when it comes to Facebook, Instagram, or LinkedIn, on any other social media platforms. You need to back your creatives, you need to back your content by data and insights. You need to know what your audience wants. You need to know what actually works for your brand. You need to leverage multiple offerings and platforms across all the segments, all the 4 major segments to get it right. And you need to spearhead a full-fledged strategy to get the new business, to get the talent, and get the message out there for your social media page. Last but not the least, you need to connect with target groups and execute foreseeable long-term campaigns to get your long-term objectives right. Well, that was on the social media part. While you have the SEO game right and you need to improve the content game, in the world of digital, there is a third pillar that is essentially very important to reach out to multiple people who don't organically come to your site and not even searching about you or not even relevant to your search. Well, how do we do that? Well, there's a way, and that's called the paid ads.